Namaste, Radhe Krishna. This is Sai Swarup from Dazz, and today we are on the sixth day of 7 Days Krishna Face Bhagavad Gita workshop by Dazz. And today we have Master Shakthipiriyan as the speaker of the day, who is going to chant and explain shlokas from the 18th chapter Moksha Sannyasa Yoga of Bhagavad Gita. So on the first day we had Kumari Dutishri. On the second day we had it was me, Master Sai Swarup, and on the third day we had Kumari Deepika. On the fourth day we had Master Charvik, and on the fifth day, that is yesterday, we had Master Bhargavaram, and today we have Master Shaktipriyan. Before we getting into the session today, let's invoke the blessings of Radha and Krishna by chanting the Maha Mantra, that is Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, 11 times. So I request everyone to unmute yourself and to keep Chin Mudra on your laps and to meditate on the supreme power. Hare Krishna,
Krishna Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama,
Hare Rama, Rama Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare
Krishna Hare
Hare
Hare.
Rama, Hare
Hare
Rama,
Rama, Hare Rama, Hare Hare. Hare
Hare
Krishna,
Krishna, Hare Krishna,
Krishna
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 Krishna,
Hare
Hare
Hare.
Hare.
Hare
Hare
Rama,
Rama, Hare Rama,
Rama Hare Hare. Hare
Hare
Krishna,
Krishna, Hare Krishna,
Krishna
Krishna,
Hare
Hare
Hare.
Hare.
Hare
Hare
Rama,
Rama, Hare Rama,
Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Rama Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Rama Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Rama Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Rama Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Rama Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Rama Hare Hare. Over to Master Shaktipriyan.
Namaste, Radhe Krishna. I am Shakthipiriyan from Dazz, and today I am going to be chanting slokas 13 and slokas 14 from 18th chapter Moksha Sannyasa Yoga. So before we get into the chapter, I would like to thank Master Sai Swarup and Mahalakshmi Ma'am for giving me this opportunity to present the slokas. I would have not entered in this situation and present to you the slokas without the help of Master Sai Swarup and Mahalakshmi Ma'am. Thank you so much. So I'm going to be sharing my screen now. Just a second. I think we can wait for 1 second. Just a minute. Okay, so I think everyone can see my screen now, right? Hello?
Yeah, we can see your screen.
Yes, it's visible. Master
Okay. Thank you so much. Okay, so let's get started. So as I said, we are going to be starting Sloka 13 and Sloka 14 of Bhagavad Gita, chapter 18, Moksha Sannyasa Yoga. So before we start the slokas, there are two specific reasons of why I have chosen this slokas, because there are obviously we know that there are more than 70 slokas in 18 chapter. But these two slokas are very important because we have a character in ourselves which is very bad. That is the doership mentality. So we will talk about that in the later slokas. But first, let's start with the 13th sloka. I'll start by chanting the slokas, then I'll tell you the meaning of it. Panchaitani Mahabaho Karanani Nibodame Take Kritante Proktani Siddhaye Sarva Karmanam. Okay, so Krishna is trying to say a very important point to Arjuna, that is Sankye Kritante Proktani. According to Vedanta, Panchaitani Karanani, there are five causes. Sankhya Kritante Proktani, according to Vedanta, Panchaitani Karanani, there are five causes for Siddhaye Sarva Karmanam. That is for accomplishment for any action. So for any action, there are five factors that is involved in it, right? This is what Krishna is trying to say to Arjuna and Nibodhame. Now learn these things from me. So Krishna is trying to give knowledge to Arjuna. So here he's trying to say that according to Vedanta, there are five factors for which an action is involved. And he's also trying to say a very important point, that is, in a spiritual path, a person who is in Krishna consciousness will not be affected by any results. That is, if a person in Krishna consciousness will try to do any action, he will not get affected from results of that action. Now, we need to ask the question of why. Because we need to ask questions, right? We cannot just agree to anything. I mean, even in Newton's third law, we have studied that every action has an equal and opposite reaction. But here, Krishna is trying to say that any action that is done by a person that is spiritual and is in Krishna consciousness will not be affected by the results of that action, right? So we will study for that. First of all, we are going to be studying about Paramatma, that is the super soul, right? We are going to be studying about the super soul, and it is also super soul is also actually a factor. It's a very important factor. Super soul plays a very important factor in accomplishment of an action, right? Very important factor, and we will be learning about that. So super soul. Suppose if I do any action, that is anything from moving my finger to reading, moving any object, will only be done if the super soul sanctions the action. That is, if I do any action that does not cause any pain to anyone, or is just a normal good action, then the Paramatma will sanction the action. The Paramatma will think that, okay, fine, so the action which is done by the person does not have any harm. So the Paramatma will sanction the action, and I can do that action without any problem. However, if I try to do any action that is hurting to others, for example, what can I say, breaking any objects, right? I mean, of course, it can bring harm to any person. So Paramatma will not sanction the action. The Paramatma will not sanction it. So that action cannot be done. However, due to the mind in myself, which is affected by all the impurities, that is the materialistic mind which is present in me, will try to complete that action. The materialistic mind will always make me focus towards that particular action. So hence it will not let me think towards whether the action is good or not, right? So the sanction of an action by Paramatma will decide whether the action is good or a bad action. But that judgment will not be present in my mind because I have a materialistic mind, right? So hence I will try to complete that action. And we know that any action that is done will be any action that is done that is a bad action will cause a bad result, and it will also release in karma. So I will get karma if I do a particular action that is effective, that is not sanctioned by Paramatma because it's a bad action. And Paramatma doesn't promote any bad action. We all know that, right? This is how Super Soul, the Paramatma, plays a major role in completing the action, right? Because Paramatma decides whether an action which is done by us is a good action or a bad action, right? This is how it decides. And he also says that, and we also learned that Krishna is trying to say Arjuna about this through Vedanta. He says that according to Vedanta. So what is Vedanta? Conclusion of all Vedas. That is conclusion and essence of all the knowledge. From conclusion and essence of all the knowledge, that is Vedanta, Krishna is trying to say this point to Arjuna. Right? Krishna is trying to say this point to Arjuna. And this is how super soul plays a very major role. Right? This is how super soul plays a very major role in completing the action. And the last point which I've said, a person who's in Krishna consciousness, right? A person who's in Krishna consciousness will not be affected towards the result of any action. Why? Why is it that? Well, to understand this, we are a normal materialistic persons, right? Understanding this answer will be a far harder job for us, right? So we need to take a step back and go to the spiritual level. That is the person who are not affected by any impurities, who are in spiritual Krishna consciousness, who are always thinking about Krishna, who are always done good deed. We have to learn about their action. So whenever a spiritual person does any action, the the essence of that action or the instructions will be given by the Krishna himself, right? So we'll take this to an example. If I want to cook any food, for example, obviously a person like me doesn't know how to cook properly, so I'll ask my mother on how to do it. Right? So instructions of my action are given by my mother for me to cook. Similarly, in spiritual pathway, any action that is done by a person in Krishna consciousness, the essence of that action or the instructions of that action will be directly given by the Krishna himself. And obviously, we know that, I mean, when we talk about Krishna, there's nothing wrong with impurities. There's nothing wrong with impurities. So the person does that action from the given instructions by Krishna without any impurities in that action. Because the person is Krishna conscious, is already free from impurity. Yes, the person has reached the spiritual pathway by removing all the impurities from his mind. So when he tries to do that action, by the help of Krishna, there won't be any impurities in it, right? And hence the person won't feel any. The person won't be affected by any result. Let it be a bad result, a good result. If any good result comes from that action, he'll think that it is because of Krishna, and full credits goes to Krishna. If any bad result happens, he will feel that okay, I have to improve myself. And it may be Krishna who is guiding him through this, right? So it happens. Okay. So now we'll move to the 14th sloka. Adhishtanam tata karta karanam cha pratak vidam vidascha pratak cheshta daivam chaivatra panchamam. Okay. So in 13th sloka we have learned super soul, which plays a very major role in completing the action. We learn about four other factors which are involved. The first factor is the super soul, which you have learned it in the verse 13. Now we learn in verse 14 about the four other factors which are involved, right? So the factor which Krishna says is first the place of action, which is the body, right? The body, which is in the skeleton, is very important in completing the action, right? The body is given by Krishna to complete and free our body from impurity. So first is the place of action, that is the body. Second is karta. Karta, that is the spirit soul. The spirit soul is the one who wants to accomplish the action and wants to bring the results of the action. What I say, wants to accomplish the action. That is the karta, the spirit soul, right? It is present in our body, wants to complete the action and wants to achieve the results of the action. And it's known as karta, the doer, right? Next is the karana, the senses. Eyes, nose, tongue, ear, skin, the senses, right? They also play a very major role in completing the action. Eyes, nose, tongue, ear, skin. We see from our eyes, we taste the food through our tongue, we feel the objects through our skin, right? So senses also play a very major role. Next is the cheshta, which is the endeavor. Endeavor is the amount of hard work we give. Many different actions that we do have major or different endeavor, right? Suppose if we are moving a very light object, it will take us less endeavor. If moving a very hard object, it will take us more endeavor, right? And of course, Devam. Devam is the super soul, of course, right? So karta, uh, karanam, karanam, cheshta, Devam, and of course the adhishtanam. Adhishtanam means the place of action, which is our body. So Krishna describes these five factors which are important for completing an action. And Krishna also tries to convey a very important point, that is we need to take away the doership mentality which is present in ourselves. What is the doership mentality? The mentality which is present in ourselves, which always let us think that any action is being completed because of us, right? But the major credits in which which receive are super soul and the other factors, right? We are just one of the factors that are involved in completing the action, whereas the Paramatma, the endeavor, the senses, all these other factors are also involved in completing the action, right? So hence we are just one of the factors. We are not the entire factor itself that is involved in completing the action. We are just one of the factors. Hence, major credit goes to the other four factors, especially the super soul, right? The sanction of an karma, right? We get bad karma by our doership mentality, but we don't know that the Paramatma also play a very major role, right? So we need to take away this doership mentality. This is the main reason why I selected these two slokas, because we need to understand that we are not the major point here. The major point is the other four factors for completing this uh, action, right? So that's all I have to say. Now I hope everybody understood the slokas, right? Does anyone have any doubt? Anyone?
No, Anna.
Okay. Okay, fine. So I'm going to be asking two questions just to understand better. The first question is, what are the five factors that are involved in completing the action? The five factors which you have just read now. Anyone? Does anyone know the answer?
Can I?
Yes.
The five factors are Adhisthana, Karta, Karna, Cheshta, and Daivam.
Okay. Can you tell me what is Adhishtanam?
The body,
Okay. What is Karta?
doer,
Okay. What is the Karanam?
the the instruments, like the main things which are needed.
The senses. Okay. The
Like the
Cheshta.
senses,
The Cheshta.
the hard work, the effort we do.
Okay. That's the endeavor, but that's right. Devam.
It's the divine energy, the
Okay. Right.
supreme.
That's super. So that's correct. Okay. Very good. Okay. So the last question is, why the person who's in Krishna consciousness will not be affected by the results of their action? Why? Anyone?
Can you please repeat the question?
Okay, sorry. So we know that a person in Krishna consciousness will not be affected by the results of their action, right? In a materialistic world, that any person such as me will be affected by the results of their action. That is, any good action or a bad action, the person will be affected, right? But in spiritual world, the person won't be affected by the results of the action. Why?
Can I now?
Huh?
Can I say?
Okay. Let. Oh yeah. Yes, Bhargav.
So whenever we get a good result, we tend to become arrogant. So a person in Krishna consciousness won't become arrogant since he knows that it's because of Krishna that is uh, that he has achieved this. And whenever he gets a bad result, he knows that it's for some good reason and that Krishna is guiding him.
Yes, that's correct. And also the action which is completed is directly, the instructions of that action is directly given by Krishna, right? So the person will do the action based on the instructions given by Krishna and hence won't be affected, right? But that's also a correct answer. What you told is almost 90% correct, so very good. Okay, so I hope everyone understood. This is all from me. Over to Sai Suru. Yes.
Thank you, Master Shakthipiriyan. That was really nice. And today we got to know from the 13th and 14th shloka of the chapter 18 of Bhagavad Gita, where Lord Shri Krishna explains the five essential factors that contribute to the accomplishment of every action. The 13th shloka introduces these five factors, that is the body, Adhisthana, the doer karta, and the instruments, the senses, the karana, and the effort, the hard work which we put is the cheshta, and the divine will, the divine power is Devam. And these factors are considered the fundamental elements that come together to produce the results of any action. And in the 14th shloka, where Sri Krishna elaborates on each of these components, the body serves as the field or the physical basis where actions take place, while the doer refers to the individual performing the actions, and the instruments, the senses, like the instruments which include senses or tools used in the action, such as hands, speech, or mind, and the effort represents the actions taken to accomplish a task, and divine, the Devam, will signifies the unseen cosmic force or the unseen cosmic force that influences the outcome of every action beyond human control. So it was really wonderful to listen to this two shlokas, which was explained by Master Shakthipiriyan from the 18th chapter Moksha Sannyasa Yoga, the last chapter of Bhagavad Gita. And let's conclude this session. But before that, let me just tell about tomorrow's speaker. We have Master Anantaraman, and we have Kumari Kritu tomorrow, the last day, 7th day of this workshop. So I request everyone to attend tomorrow. We have the whole summarization of Bhagavad Gita, and we have some interesting fun quiz. So hope you all. So hope you all will join. So we'll meet you tomorrow. But before that, I request everyone to unmute yourself and to keep Chin Mudra on your laps and to meditate Shri Krishna and Radha Mata. And let's conclude this session by chanting Om Shanti Shanti Hi, followed by Loka Samasta Sukhino Bhavantu 3 times. So let's begin.
Shanti,
Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. Loka samasta sukhino bhavantu. Loka samasta sukhino bhavantu. Loka samasta sukhino bhavantu. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Thank you. Meet you all tomorrow. Until it's signing off, Master Sai Swarup from Dazz. Thank you. Radhe Krishna.